And today I'm going to introduce you guys to Pressley Hambrick, who I recently met. Very interesting journey. I'll let him explain that journey, and now he's in syndication development and all that stuff. But Pressley, kind of you go through your history and where you came from and what you do now.
Okay. So my famous story is I was literally born into real estate. My grandparents owned two apartment buildings, a 13 unit and a 50 unit. Actually a few blocks down from each other. I don't think I've ever told anyone that. So as soon as I could walk and, was not a danger, an insurance scare to my parents and my grandparents allowed me to start helping them with make ready. So I started painting, 4 or 5 years old, doing stuff that, little kids can do without getting in trouble or hurting themselves. And my father also owned a construction company. So when I turned about 6 years old, he started teaching me how to put down carpet, drywall. By the time I got to 7 and 8 years old, and actually, let's see if I can stop the video so the viewers can see it. This is actually a video of, a picture of one of the apartments that we owned, and I was actually repairing, with my father's help, of course, the patio. Let's see if my video comes back on, if I gotta go through the whole rigmarole. So learning that process, there we go. Learning that process helped me understand the ins and outs of what goes on into doing construction and understanding what the contractors need to look for. 1 second.
Sure, yeah. The video's
what the contractors need to look for and what they have to go through on a daily basis or a weekly basis as far as the contracting part. So I learned contracting very early at 7, 8 years old. And then I went from there to flipping homes with my dad, doing rehab and buying and selling and just learning that process. So real estate has always been in my blood. Grandparents, father, my uncles did it as well. And then I went from that to, I went to a very unique high school, which was Davis Aerospace in Detroit. And I got my pilot's license when I was about 14, 15. I had my pilot's license before I had my driver's license, actually. And having that entrepreneur spirit, I always loved real estate, but I still had that entrepreneur spirit. So I went to college to get a degree in aerospace engineering, dropped out to start a mortgage company because I still had that real estate, running through my veins. I went through a couple of ventures, a tech startup where I was able to go to Italy and meet the Lamborghini family, do some stuff with the Bugatti family and original Bugatti factory as well. And through all of that, I had this sense that I needed to be back in real estate. And I tell anybody, if you've ever been involved in real estate or cars, no matter what you do, you're always going to get pulled back to it. It's not something that, you can start. The same thing with airplanes. I recently got my license in October. It's not something you can do and get out of and never really think about again. It's always something that creates a passion in you. So when I came back from Italy, the passion became so strong that I separated the partnership with my business partner for the tech company that we were starting to get back into the real estate game. So since then, I've been syndicating, and we currently have a 300-unit Class A multifamily that we're working on here in Houston, and we have 150 residential homes that we're working on in 3 phases in Michigan. The primary focus obviously being the Class A here in Houston, and then syndicating whatever has a really good return.
Awesome! Wow, yeah, that's a quite a journey. Yeah, all right, so
working right in the middle.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. All right, back to normal camera. All right, so with that, now you're into syndication and development, obviously, both together, syndication development together, essentially.
Yes. Yes.
So who do you like to connect and who can you help, these days? Tell us a little bit about that.
I like to connect with everyone. The reason being, so this was the difficult part. The conversation that we had earlier, I think last week, I explained that being born in Houston, but kind of being raised in Detroit, Detroit did not at the time, I'm not sure about now, but did not at the time foster a really strong environment to help others get to the next level.
Mhm.
I was so hungry to be successful. I remember calling brokers and saying, hey, how do I do this? Is there any way that I can learn? And I mean, mind you, I was in my early 20s. I didn't know that even being a real estate agent was a thing. I thought it was just something that you went into. I had no idea you had to go get licensed for it. So that created in me a passion to really help people, because on the one end, we're always hungry to be successful. Something in me always said, you're going to make it, you're going to be fine. But you need to take the hunger and the resources that you've collected, learned, and gathered throughout the years and be able to teach other people and give that back. Because it's a lot of people like you, same age, or whatever the trials and tribulations that you've been through, that these younger people or people that are older and have decided to go to a different path are seeking. They're seeking these resources and stuff. So when you ask me, what am I looking to give to other people and how do I want to connect? The issue that I ran into that I didn't realize was a stumbling block was I knew I needed to meet investors. I knew I needed to meet people with resources, but I didn't know how. So the first answer to that was to obviously meet them and build a relationship. But no one taught me and really sat me down to consciously say the important part is the relationship part, not just the meeting part. And I think what a lot of people who are not taught or who do not have the opportunity to see other successful people, what they don't realize is when you meet these people, it's not, hey, I meet somebody successful and wealthy. Now I can get their resources. It's really about a relationship and a friendship. So over time, I had to learn that, when I meet, I moved from Michigan to Houston, I had started an auto enthusiast country club, which we talked about. And in that auto enthusiast country club, I had music moguls, I had politicians, I had a royalty from different parts of the country be my clients. And I got to understand, one, how they managed money, two, how they spent money, which was really cool. But three, how to build those relationships. So now it's not a point of let me meet as many people as I can who have something that I need. It is how you ask me the question, what can I do to be of service to you? If you have a friend who just happens to have resources, that friend has no problem with, helping you out. Hey, my best friend, we've been best friends for the last 5, 10 years or our entire life or whatever the story is. And, they need $1 million seed capital or they need their first investor at $100,000. That's not as difficult as a conversation of having meeting somebody for the first time and saying, hey, I have this business plan. I meet so many people on LinkedIn, which I think is an amazing platform. And I hit the accept button for the friend request, which is great. I love connecting with people. And seconds after I hit the accept or connect button, they send me this is what I have to pitch. Well, and I don't necessarily have a problem with that because, that might work, or they might have so many people that they need to market to. They just need to, spray and pray and hope something sticks to the wall. But in my opinion, first, know me as an individual and what voids that you might be able to fill. In the same with me. If I meet somebody and they need investors and I have the opportunity to connect them with other investors, then that's a win-win for both of us. Because who's to say that the mentality that, and I'll finish with this, the mentality is that there's not enough. And once you get out that mentality that, hey, if I connect you with one of my best and loyal investors, he's one or she's one not going to invest with me anymore because now they're putting funds into your project. Or if I give you my resources, I no longer have resources. I believe that once you get to the mindset that giving more is available to you, then you can get to a whole new level in life and in business.
Awesome. That's the great philosophy, my philosophy. Great way to put it. Well, so you heard it. So, obviously, if you're a multifamily investor, syndicator, whatever you are, as long as you're trying to build a relationship with someone like Pressley, reach out to him and
Yes.
talk to him. He's a
Yes.
great person. I can say that, attest that. Although I just met him a week ago, I can say that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. So, I kind of know already, but I'll ask the question anyway.
Okay.
What inspires you to get up and do what you do every day?
That is a very different answer that I'm going to give than most.
Okay.
Because most people say, "Oh, my family motivates me," or it's usually some personal thing that they've either had to overcome. It might be a sickness. A lot of times, like I say, it's family. Um, I grew up with a little bit different mentality. My family has never motivated me as far as me wanting to accomplish something to give to them. The reason why is because I give out of not having anything. I was able to mentor, if whoever's listening can't tell, I mentor to anybody who listens to me. But I was able to mentor a young man a couple of days ago. And part of his thought process is he wants to be a very, let me say the word correctly, philanthropic person. He wants to be a giver. Mm-hmm. And I had to explain that you don't have to be wealthy to give. Mm-hmm. When I was poor, when I was homeless, if there was money, if there was anything available, I might go to the grocery stores and I might only have $50, but I might see somebody who was in a greater need than I was and give to them. So it's not that I don't love family, it's that I will give to family and I will try to accomplish these things without being successful. So it's never been a motivator. It's been a weird thing with me that it's like a little light that I have in my soul or my stomach or whatever you want to call it, mm-hmm. that I've always wanted to do better than the day before, because I wanted to be as great and live up to the greatest potential that I have. And I'm far from it and I have a lot further to go. And I think by loving myself first, it's the oxygen mask on the airplane, right? You put the oxygen mask over yourself first so you can then take care of others. I know if I do well, I can even more bless my family, give more to charities. But if you don't have anything, that should not stop you from doing everything that you have right now and doing everything that you can right now to still accomplish those goals. I don't wake up saying, I'm going to make it for my kids. Well, whatever I need to do for my kids, I'm going to make it happen regardless, whether I be successful or not, it's going to get done. And I believe a lot of entrepreneurs already have that mentality, it's going to get done. I'm going to find a way. It's just how you channel that focus and mentality and that energy. And I think it's great to use family as a motivator. I've always been self-motivated. And to finish up with this, when I was in high school, my parents used to dangle cool stuff in front of me. And I remember my stepmom saying, we'll buy you a four-wheeler or ATV if you get all A's this semester. Because I always got pretty decent grades, but it was never all A's. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, money, I've never had a hunger for money. I don't know why. It's been a hindrance and a blessing. And a year later, I went up to my parents and I said, I'm gonna get straight A's this year. They said, why? I said, just because I want to. Mm-hmm. And I remember making straight A's and I marched in the Thanksgiving parade and it was the coolest thing. And then I went back to my normal grades. So.
Awesome. Well, that's, yeah, I was going to comment, Matthew McConaughey had a great speech in Academy Awards. I don't know if you saw this. Mm-hmm. His hero is always 10 years himself.
Yeah.
10 years ahead, which is what reminded me when you were talking about always being better. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Pressley, you had a long, different, I guess, entrepreneurship, pictures. So I'm sure you have a lot of tips and tricks. You can't share all of them. You have to share one tip that has helped you. It could be personal, professional, doesn't matter. What is the one tip you like to share?
The one tip that I would like to share is also my favorite motto, which is memento mori, which means remember that you're immortal. And if you wake up every day understanding, and not in a bad way, not, oh, I might die tomorrow, so I have to be paranoid and scared and live out of fear, but understanding your time on earth is finite. Do everything great that you possibly can, go as far as you possibly can while the time is now. Bishop T.D. Jakes says something that I think about almost every day. He says, when you're young, you devour. And when you're older, then you relax. So when you're younger, you do everything you can because you got the energy. And I'm crossing over to the energy is slowly leaving out. But when you're younger, you do everything you can. You know, you stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning, writing business plans, doing deals, so that when you're 45, 50, 55, 60s, you can now rest because all the work, you know, you put in early. So memento mori is the advice that I would have for everyone, not even just entrepreneurs. Remember that you're immortal. Remember that this day is sacred, and every day that you have is a blessing that you got to wake up. And for those who got to wake up that are healthy and that are having sicknesses, rejoice in that and be glad in that. And those that are sick and are maybe watching this from the bedside, you still woke up. There's still, you know, the rest of the day that you can live. There's still hope for tomorrow.
Awesome. Awesome. Great advice. Yes. Remembering your mortality is very important because you're not going to live forever.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, you know, if you want to reach out to Pressley, I'll be posting his links, websites, whatever I have with the video and the clips on LinkedIn and YouTube. So reach out to him. You know, if you've heard, you know, from him, obviously, if it, you know, rhymes with you, please reach out to him. And like I said, I highly recommend, you know. Thanks, Pressley, for being on the, you know, record the show with me.
It's been an honor, and thank you for your patience in my very long answers.
No problem. That was awesome. My answers. Thanks.